Hello, it's Emma from Balance Works Yoga. Thank you for joining me today. These next few weeks we'll be looking at a little bit of yoga philosophy, the 8 limbs of yoga, and threading just 2 of those, the Yamas and Niyamas, into our practices. So we'll get onto that, the actual movement part in a moment, but I just thought I'd start with a little introduction so you know a little bit of what it's all about. We'll be looking at AHIMSA and SATYA today. So the 8 limbs of yoga is, as hopefully is on the screen now, the 8 limbs, a little path, a little guide to yoga, and there's 8 different elements to sort of live a fuller life, and the asana, the movement side of it, is just 1/8 of that. You've also got the pranayama, the breath work, which is another one. The yamas and niyamas are like ethical guidelines and ways to sort of improve ourselves and the ways we interact with ourselves and the world. They're the ones that we're going to be focusing on. And then there are lots of others. Once you've got all of these in place, then you can begin to get to the other parts, the pratyahara, the dhyana, and the times when you are able to minimize distractions, be able to sit for longer and meditate for longer, and ultimately begin to get to know yourself more and achieve this samadhi, which is supposed to be just like seeing life as it really is, being able to not get distracted in our brains by all of the our thoughts and emotions and fears and pain and all these different fluctuations that happen in our mind. So all the other 8 limbs of yoga are aiming for us to be able to get to that point, whether it is a time you get to, or maybe there's a little glimpse of it in your life, but the more we can do, look after the other 7 limbs, you might catch a glimpse of it at some point. So I thought it was worth touching on the yamas and the niyamas today. So the yamas are a bit like our ethical behaviours and our sort of moral disciplines, the way we interact with the world. And as you can see, hopefully on here, they encompass things like non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess, and non-possessiveness. And we'll be looking at those a little bit more in different classes. The niyamas are a little bit more internal, the way we look at ourselves. They include studying ourselves and being aware of ourselves, our own contentment, being able to surrender, let go of things, and self-discipline, things like that. So today we will be looking a bit more at the first 2 yamas, the AHIMSA and SATYA. So AHIMSA is the first one. Its definition is non-harming or non-violence, and most people might think, oh well, I'm not violent towards people, I don't harm things, but we've got to take it a little bit further than that, and instead of just thinking about it physically, hopefully we don't cause physical violence towards people or ourselves, but think about it on a mental level as well, and think about all of these yamas within our thoughts and our words and our deeds, so more than just physically. And also thinking about ourselves. Are we kind to ourselves as well as other people? There's lots of times in the day where you might have all sorts of thoughts that are telling ourselves that we're not good enough, we haven't achieved this, we're not doing enough of X, Y, and Z. So being able to be a bit kinder with our thoughts and tell ourselves when we're doing a good job, and give ourselves a little bit of love, which is another big part of yoga. And that links nicely to the Satya, the second yama, which translates as honesty or truthfulness. And hopefully, most people when they've grown up and they're not a little kid anymore are, don't tell lies. But it's being honest with ourselves as well, and finding our authentic, our true selves, which can take time, needs a time and space to be able to do that. So today we're looking at kind of non-violence in our thoughts, words and actions, or kindness in our thoughts, words and actions, and truthfulness in our thoughts and words and actions. So thinking about that in yoga terms, even just the way you're sitting right now, or when you move and get into a pose, just think, am I harming myself? Or am I doing things that are kind for my body? Am I pushing it to too much of a range that just because I think it should be like this, but it doesn't feel good and it's feeling a bit cranky, or something doesn't feel right? So really looking out for when we're respecting our bodies, but also mentally, just making sure you talk to yourself kindly. Don't try and compare yourself with other people, and also maybe yourself 10 years ago or the person you want to become, just trying to be kind to the person that's here right now. And the same with the satya, the honesty, just getting to know our strengths, our limitations, being true to ourselves and not trying to be something that we're not, and finding what is truly important to you. So yeah, that's the AHIMSA and the SATYA, and we're going to be having a little focus on those through the practice today, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's start as we mean to go on today. We're going to start in a seated position on our mats, but get comfortable, get any cushions or blankets rolled up, blocks, anything to sit on so you're not sitting in discomfort. There's no point in that. Start the loving kindness right now as we sit, and just take a moment to arrive on our mats, to be able to slow things down and just be. So once you're comfortable and you've got rid of any fidgets or niggles and just taken a moment to make any little adjustments, tend to any areas that need tending to, then just sit nice and tall, take a nice deep inhale and a long exhale. Hands can be wherever, they can be on your knees, in your lap. Just making sure today that you are listening to your body, doing things that work for you, that feel right for you. And as you sit here with your eyes closed, just notice. The hard part is over, that's the showing up, that's the being here, we're ready to go. Now just try and be. Not doing, but being present. So a good way we can start that is just to notice any sensations in our bodies, any things we need to address, just checking in with our necks and knees and any other areas. And just noticing our breath as it comes in and out of our bodies. It's a good place to start if we're not sure how to ground down, how to settle down. And observe what happens to your body as you breathe. Heard a phrase the other day that said, don't just be a human being doing yoga, be a human being yoga. So really trying to embody it, feel it, and be it rather than just do all the time. Maybe begin to slowly deepen the breath now. Slightly longer inhale, sit nice and tall. Slightly longer exhale, allow the shoulders to just relax, drop down. Check you're not holding tension in your face, your jaw. And then we're going to bring our hands to prayer position. Our palms together, maybe bring our thumbs to our hearts. We can even find a little lotus mudra as an option if you like, where we keep our thumbs and little fingers together but open up the other fingers. So we're creating this lotus mudra, this symbolism of opening our hearts today. And that's being compassionate to others but also ourselves, especially not just in our yoga practice but in our daily lives as well. The way we can think of that on a physical level, so the way we treat our bodies, especially in yoga, not pushing them too hard and not doing things that don't feel right, but also on a mental level, just talking to ourselves kindly, understanding our strengths and our limitations, and trying to find that truth as well, that satya. So just take a moment here, just whatever that means to you. And bring the palms back together. And we're going to send the fingertips outwards like a big swimming motion and open up the arms nice and wide. Again, the symbolism of opening our hearts up, sending the thumbs backwards, palms open, trying to be open to new experiences, open to understanding people, and them understanding us, and bringing the arms in again, hands together on the exhale. Let's repeat that lovely bit of breath work. So inhale, open. Exhale, close. Bring the palms together to our heart. Inhale, open. Go at your own pace here. Exhale, close. A bit of hasta vinyasa. That's hasta means our hands, vinyasa, linking the movement to the breath. Feels good. Should feel natural and opening. Awesome. One more. Lovely. Relax the hands, place them on our knees, and let's just start a few circles here, just circling the hips, the shoulders, the waist. Just beginning to get that sensation through the legs. Okay, and don't forget to breathe. Nice and big full breaths, and change direction. They can be small circles, big circles. Again, these sorts of warm-ups are great for practicing that loving kindness. Awesome. Bring the arms all the way up. Reach up. Reach, reach, reach. Take a nice inhale here. Then we're going to take a little twist to the left first of all. Or the right, whichever way. It doesn't really matter. Noticing I didn't mirror there. Sorry. Inhale. To lengthen, exhale, you might get an extra little twist, but it's up to you. Don't force anything. And inhale up. Let's twist to the other side, whichever side that is. Fingertips behind you, the other hand to anchor on the knee. Inhale, lift nice and tall. Try not to slouch in the body. And exhale, that little twist from the belly, then the rib cage, then the shoulders. Inhale, back up to center. This time we're going to take our left hand over the top and have a nice side stretch. Just again, feel in here. You don't have to be getting all the way low. You're all about creating length here and reaching up with the fingertips. Finding what feels okay, having a little movement if that feels good. And then windmill over the other side. Right arm comes up, reach, reach, reach with those fingertips. Really feel a lovely stretch down there. Loving movements. Big breaths. One more time, all the way over to windmill, and this time our left hand is going to skirt, like trace a circle in front of us across the floor, like a semicircle. Allow the other arm to follow, and we're going to create this fluid movement with the arms as they windmill over, and then trace a little half circle in front of us. We're getting a little fold motion now. Just going to move my cardigan because it's getting in the way. Up and over, and you get this little fold in front of us that gets a nice stretch down the back of the legs. Exhale as we fold, inhale as we rise. And then reverse. Again, just finding what feels okay for you, the range that feels good, rather than feeling like you have to get really low. Use the breath, a bit of vinyasa. Okay, awesome stuff. What we're going to do now is come onto our knees into tabletop. So again, if you've got that blanket there, if you need some cushioning, you can always use that underneath your knees. We're coming to a tabletop position. And just take a moment to find your foundation, spreading the fingertips, pressing down with the tops of your feet. And let's come into a little bit of cat-cow. Let's tend to the spine now. So we're just going to inhale, drop the belly, allow the tailbone to come up. Little movement to begin with, and exhale, tuck the tailbone round the back, allow the head to come down, open the shoulders. Inhale, reverse. But you find what feels good for you here. Just a chance to check in with the spine. And the breath. Inhale, expand the front body. Exhale, squeeze the air out. You might want to add a bit of side to side, a bit of figure of 8 with the hips here. Or forwards and backwards, funk it up a little bit. Just checking in. What feels good for you? Close your eyes and just enjoy the motion. Okay, last one. Then back to a neutral spine. We're going to walk the hands out in front of us, just seeing where they come to here. Take a big inhale, keeping our hips high. We're going to exhale and just lower our chest down towards the floor, wherever that comes to. It might be here, it might be here. Your forehead might come down to the ground until you feel a nice stretch all the way down your arms. If your forehead doesn't come to the ground, you might want to use a block if you've got a block or a cushion. And either your chest can go on the block or your forehead can go on the block. So you can just relax into it. Puppy pose. Big deep breaths. Use the exhale just to melt down a little bit further. Maybe if you're really bendy, get your chin to the floor and then your chest does come down to the floor a little bit here. But don't push anything. I'm going to walk the hands back in now, just slightly, because we're going to ripple down onto our bellies. So shuffle backwards slightly and we're going to lower ourselves down, hugging the elbows in, and find maybe a sphinx pose, just coming onto our bellies and seeing how it feels. Like last week, I don't have much room here, but if you wanted to slide your arms further forwards and come a little bit lower, just find something that feels okay with your back. And when you're there, just take a moment to press down with your lower body, your pelvis, tops of your feet, tops of your legs. You might just get that little lift in your chest, but if you prefer to be lower, just open up the elbows a little bit and lower down. What we're going to do now is take an inhale and just roll, so press down with the pelvis and just draw the navel in a little bit here. Draw the navel in around the back and bring the head down. So like a little bit of an arched cat position, but in a sphinx. And then exhale, we're going to ripple down, the belly down. Maybe the rib cage comes down and the chest comes up back into sphinx. One more. Exhale, round the back, squeeze the air out, hug the belly in, drop the head if it feels good, and exhale, ripple the belly, rib cage, lovely, down. Lower down slightly here, we're going to bring the hands behind us now. They can either just palms down alongside us if you like, or they might interlace behind you. We're just going to take a little gentle locust here, a little back bend, so you can keep nice and flat here. We're not arching the back too much, especially not the neck, gazing at the floor in front of us. Maybe the chin goes down on the mat. Keep it nice and low to begin with. Press down with the pelvis, press down with the palms of the hands, squeeze the shoulders, take a big inhale and lift the chest slightly off the ground, squeeze the shoulders backwards. Maybe your palms are on the floor, maybe they're hovering off the floor, or maybe you interlace the fingers behind your back and squeeze for a little bit more lift, but just you do what suits your back. Take a big inhale here, one more, and exhale, ripple down and just relax, right cheek to the mat, so you can just rock your hips out here. Just a gentle locust, nothing big today, just checking in with the sensations. Being kind to the body. Rock the hips, it's beautiful for the back, the lower back. Okay, bring your head back to center. And we're going to go one more time. Again, choose your hand position. Your palms can be down to leave you up a bit, or they can be, palms can be upwards. We're just going to take an inhale, lift the chest here, press down with the pelvis, squeeze the shoulders, maybe interlace the fingers if they reach. If not, just fine where they are. Maybe the toes come off. So we've got a nice long locust position, long neck, gaze at the mat. So we've got a length here rather than height. So long length, long position. Getting my words muddled up today. Really squeezing that back. And whenever you've had enough, exhale, relax down, put the left cheek to the mat and rock the hips out. Check in with the lower back in particular, if you've got any issues there. Rock from side to side. Nourish the body in between all the effort. Big breaths. And then slide the hands under your shoulders. We're going to tuck the toes and slowly engage the abs and begin to come back into a bit of a child's pose here. Stretch the back out. So sitting back on our heels, you can have the arms long, extended child's pose, or you can slide the arms alongside the body and just take a couple more big breaths here, expanding the back. And exhale, melting, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the back here. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders and slowly roll up to a kneeling position. Okay, once you're in a kneeling position, just check in if that feels okay for you. You can always sit on cushions, blocks, rolled up blankets, whatever, if that doesn't feel good, or you can just sit cross-legged if that is better with you. So from here, we're going to find our lotus mudra again. So kneeling position, get comfortable, check in with your legs and feet, they feel okay. Bring the hands to prayer position, to our hearts. Open up our little lotus. Keeping the thumbs and fingers together. Take a big inhale. And exhale. Again, just tapping in with that reminder of loving kindness, of the AHIMSA that we want to try and keep woven through sort of every day and every movement that we do and every thought we have. Not easy, but little lotus mudra is a nice little reminder of that. Bring our hands together, bring the arms outwards. Open up and exhale. Bring it in. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. That's my husband just out the door. And then we're going to interlace the fingers and push away. And inhale up. Open the chest and exhale. Squeeze the shoulders. Just get this little cactus shape. And then find your lower backs or interlace the fingers behind. Opening up the chest here. I think I've got the dog trying to come in now as well. Open up. So we've got our fingers either interlaced here or holding on to our lower back, whatever feels okay. Another opportunity to open up the heart, open up the chest, and then we're going to lean forwards, lifting our hands up if that feels good, or they can stay here, and roll down, bringing our heads down wherever they come. Maybe the hands come up, the knuckles come up above our heads to try and help us go a little bit deeper if it feels good. Maybe forehead to ground, maybe on a block. And then inhale, up we come. Release the hands, bring them back to prayer position, and we'll repeat. Interlace the fingers, push away around the back. Inhale above our heads. Exhale, cactus, squeeze the shoulders. Oh, love that stretch. And then open the chest and find our lower backs or interlace our fingers. Take a big inhale to open here, get that extra squeeze, and exhale. Inhale back up. Release the hands, prayer position. One more. Interlace the fingers. Exhale. Above our heads, inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms. Find our lower backs or interlace the fingers again. Open the chest and exhale, rolling, squeezing the belly in. And from here, just relax the arms and find your child's pose again. Moving with loving kindness, love for your body, respect for your body, so important. Slide the hands under your shoulders. Going to walk our hands forwards, coming into a little tabletop position. Just lift your feet off the mat for a moment. Give them your ankles a little rotate here because they've been underneath your bottom, all sort of crunched up. It's good to give them a bit, oh, that's nice. All this opening position. You can be sort of sitting at your desk and you just lift your feet up and give your ankles a little rotation. Sitting on a plane, anywhere where you're sitting too long, just give them a A little bit of tension. Awesome. From here, toes down, walk the hands in slightly. We're going to find our downward dog. So lift the knees, push the heels backwards, push the hips upwards, and just find our position. Take a moment to get in there. I'm just going to get rid of my socks actually, so I get a bit slippy. Now I've warmed up a little bit as well, even though it's pretty rainy outside today. So find your down dog, take your time. Bend your legs, pedal the feet, and just ease into this new position, spreading the fingertips. Take a big inhale through our nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Bend the knees as much as you need here to try and lower the chest and bring the weight through your heels. Look forward to your hands. We're going to walk, tiptoe, however you want to get up to your hands and find a fold. Once you're there, again, bend the knees, straighten them, bend the knees. Just ease ourselves in here, not having to be straight, thinking I can't touch my toes. We're thinking bend the knees, lower your belly to your chest. Maybe hold on to the elbows, have a sway, or maybe even take your arms behind your knees and give your legs a little hug here. That feels good. Nice bend of the knees. Wherever you are, relaxing the shoulders and the neck. Big exhale. On the next inhale, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and slowly roll up to standing. Inhale up. Bring the hands all the way up and down to prayer position. Roll the shoulders and just take a moment. Once we find a new position, upright, down on the floor, bellies, it's nice to just take note of that, our new foundation, our feet. Pay attention to your toes, your feet, maybe have a little rock backwards and forwards. Wake them up, get them moving, all the muscles firing. And then just maybe close your eyes and find stillness and see if you can just trust your body to find that balance. If not, you can just have a low gaze. Okay, and then again, we're going to interlace the fingers just like we were when we were leaning down and push the hands away. And then inhale all the way up and over. Exhale, cactus the arms, get that lovely squeeze. Find our lower backs or interlace the fingers. As we fold, hinge from the hip, bend the knees. Come all the way down, as low as you can with your knuckles coming over the top of your head. And then we're going to come up to a half lift, keeping the hands there. Exhale, bend the knees, fold, release the fingertips and send them all the way forwards, coming through a little chair, all the way up to standing and back to prayer position. And again, interlace the fingers, push away, nice soft knees. Inhale up, exhale, squeeze the shoulders, open the chest, open the heart. Find our lower backs or interlace the fingers, draw the navel in and hinge from the hip. Off we go, bend the knees, roll down. Our hands can be here or they can be here. Inhale, come to a half lift, flat back, number 7 shape. Fingers still interlaced behind us. Squeezing the shoulders and exhale, bend the knees, come back to our fold. Relax, release the hands here. Send the fingertips forwards and rise up through a chair position all the way up. And then come down to prayer position. Also, just relax the hands and just have a little sway here, a little swing. Find any movement that feels good. Easing off any new feelings we're feeling in our backs, our knees, our wrists, our shoulders. You know me by now, a little shake halfway through or a little hip rotation, anything just to, you will find what feels good. Just listen to your body and what it needs. Awesome stuff. Okay, we are going to be coming back. Shuffle my mat back over because it does tend to move. And come to the top of our mat. Take an inhale, bring the arms all the way up. And exhale, going to hinge down into a fold. Bend the knees and press the hands into the mat. We're going to step back with the left foot, coming into a low lunge, left knee down. Once you're in that low lunge, just find a little rock backwards and forwards, easing into it. Just checking in with what feels good. Fingertips on the mat or maybe on a block. If you've got a block, you can come a bit higher, or even have your hands on your knee. Just finding these nice stretches, these nice sensations in this lunge. Then we're going to bring the arms all the way up and over, like holding a beach ball if that feels good for you. And then going to exhale and cactus the arms, find our lower backs, interlace the fingers or hold our lower backs. And we're going to hinge from the hip and come into a humble warrior. Take a big inhale to sort of lengthen the back. Exhale, bow down. Don't have to come too far, just see where you want to come to. Just make sure you're nice and stable through that right foot. Maybe take an inhale to lengthen again, tuck the chin. Exhale, calm down. Release the left fingertips and draw a line all the way up the top of your mat, bringing the hand upwards. Follow it with your gaze if that feels good, to come into a little reverse warrior. Inhale and exhale, bring that hand all the way back down, left hand on the mat. And then we're going to lift the right arm up, coming into a twisted lunge. Have a little roll of the shoulder here. We're just going to make some little circles with the shoulder, like little circles with the hand, to really open up here. Checking we're nice and stable in our lunge, our feet. Option to have the fingertips pointing up to the sky, or send them backwards to the back of your mat. Just see if the fingertips want to just come backwards, drawing a little semicircle down. Then we're going to inhale and draw that circle all the way up and forwards to the top of your mat and all the way through towards your left knee. It's actually on the ground down here. Option here to tuck the toes, lift that knee and keep the stretch going. Lower the left knee, bring the arm all the way up and over like a windmill. And then inhale, bring it back down again, drawing this big circle with the right arm. Option to lift the knee or keep it down. Inhale, open. Exhale, through. Awesome. Bring both hands to the left side of our right foot now. So we're coming into a little lizard lunge. Have a little bend here. Maybe shuffle that left knee backwards. Maybe shuffle the right foot to the right edge of the mat a little bit here. And just find our lizard, taking our hand to our right knee, right hand to the inside of the right knee, and just opening out here, maybe rolling the shoulder back, increasing this big hip stretch. All the adductors. And then bring it back in. Going to heel toe that foot in, tuck the back foot, and we're going to come back into a little fold at the top of our mats. Bend the knees. Then inhale, slide our hands up to our shins, come into a half lift, flat back, number 7 shape. Tuck the chin in here. Hands can be on our knees, they can be behind us. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step back with the right foot and the right knee, coming into a low lunge on the other side. Have a little rock backwards and forwards. Find your lunge, find stability, make sure you're on tram lines rather than on a tightrope. Make any adjustments you need that make you feel stable. You can use the block here if you like. And then we're going to come into crescent lunge. Inhale, bringing the hands up and over, top of our head, like you're holding a beach ball there. And then exhale, cactus the arms, open the chest, get that lovely shoulder squeeze again, and find our lower backs with our hands or interlace the fingers. Open the chest, roll the shoulders. Take a big inhale, expand the chest, find space, and exhale, draw the navel in, send the hips back. Bow down, humble warrior. Allowing the hands to lift up to help you lower down, or they can stay on your lower back. Choose what feels good. Take an inhale to lengthen again and lift up, and an exhale. Maybe you come down a bit lower, maybe not. Really active with the feet. Release the right fingertips towards the floor and draw a line all the way to the top of your mat. Follow it as it comes up and you lift up, coming into a reverse warrior with our right hand above us. And exhale, bring it back down towards the mat, hand down to the mat. The left arm's going to come out to the side and all the way above so we can find our twisted lunge. Take a few circles here with the hand and the arm, the shoulder, just opening up in the shoulder, getting a nice massage. And either keep the fingertips pointing to the sky or you can send them backwards. As we inhale, we'll lift them all the way up again, reversing, coming towards the front of our mat. Keep going with them, drawing a big circle through in between your hand and foot. And if you want to, you can lift the back knee and go a little bit further with that stretch, or keep it down, it's up to you. Inhale, send the fingertips forwards, draw a big circle backwards. And then the opposite direction. Through, lift the knee. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, open. Send the fingers backwards, reach, and exhale. Through. Awesome stuff. Both hands on the mat now to the right of your left foot, finding lizard lunge. Again, just take a little bit of a bend here. See if you can shuffle that right foot back a little bit. Getting a stretch that feels nice for you. You can either have hands on the mat, or you can have hands on a block, or you can even come down to your forearms, or just one forearm. Play around with it till you get enough of the stretch here. Maybe if you want to expand it, just take your left hand to the inside of your left knee and open up gently here. Should be a nice stretch, not a painful stretch, just a pleasant discomfort maybe. Big inhale and exhale. We're going to tuck the back toes and step that back foot back in. Take a little bend to the knees here for a fold. Inhale, come to a half lift. Maybe send the fingertips backwards this time. Squeeze the shoulders. Exhale, fold, bend the knees. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing. All the way up. And back to prayer position. Again, just take a moment here. If you want to make any adjustments or just pause. Sending some kind words to your body for all the things that are doing today. Kind words to your mind. The fact you're doing this video, you're taking up time of your day to look after yourself, which is an awesome thing. Okie dokie. Let me just check what we're doing next. Okay, I think we'll come down to the mat. Doesn't take up too much time. So we are going to just slide down, just roll down. And we're going to widen the feet, heel toe the feet to the edge of the mat here. And just find a little bit of a squat. So it might be a squat here, you might want to block. Or you can maybe come down a little bit lower, bending the knees, bringing the hips low. Just find whatever squat feels good. Maybe a little bit of movement here, rocking from side to side. Picking up one heel and the other, or it might be here. Checking in with your squat. Wherever you are, we're going to come down to a seated position now. So lower yourself down to the mat, but take your time getting there. And find a little dandasana position. So staff pose. Trying to be nice and like an L shape, nice and active and tall rather than sitting here like this. So if you do have a tendency to sort of slump down here, then just get something underneath you, whether it is a rolled up blanket. Elevating the pelvis will help with the alignment. If it's tilting that way, everything should be sent up in the right direction, but just play around with it. You can always have a little bend in the knees if that feels better as well. But really trying to stack our joints here. So thinking about our hips and our rib cage, our shoulders, and then our ears. So maybe take your finger on your chin and just push it in gently here. And imagine that imaginary little thread just gently pulling up from the crown of your head. Relax your arms alongside you, trying to just check in with your alignment for a moment. Nice active feet here, so try pushing the heels away, maybe try pointing the toes and just see what feels different, which one gives you a better experience of this pose. Find your sit bones if that's better. It's always good to do this against a wall as well, to practice sitting nice and tall. Also not flaring our chest out. This one's not about this. It's just trying to find this neutral position. Take one more breath here. It's quite active. And then we're going to bend the knees and slide our hands down and just find this little fold position. Have a little rock from side to side. Again, finding things that feel good. And maybe if you want a bit more of a stretch, you can always just push the heels away slightly. Trying to keep your belly in contact with your thighs. So if your knees are bent and you're here, that's much better than having them here and you're kind of really trying to get down. That's not the aim of this pose. It's trying to bring our belly to our thighs. So if you want to go a little bit deeper, today the focus is on nourishment, moving with love. Just feel enough of a stretch down here to make a good difference. Use the exhale to maybe melt a little bit lower, just soften the shoulders, expand the back. And then slowly support yourself back upright. Might want to take the blanket or any support away now. So we're just going to come into a little boat pose. So bending the knees here, maybe taking your hands behind you and leaning backwards, or you can have your hands behind your knees. And boat pose is a great place to practice this loving kindness, to try to be true to yourself as well. The AHIMSA and the SATYA, trying to find what feels okay and going nice and steadily, really listening to what feels okay. Maybe one foot and down, maybe the other foot and down, or maybe you know your boat pose and you know what feels good. Trying to keep a nice active core. Don't let that sink because everything else will sink. Active core, long back. Maybe let go if that feels good. Draw the shoulders back, lots of activity. Finding a challenge that feels good, feels enough today. Big breath. See if you can do one more breath, even if you lower down slightly. And then release. You can bring the hands behind you. You're going to extend the legs out now and just open up the chest here. So fingertips are facing forwards, going to open up the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Point the toes. So it's a good counter to boat pose. Option here, you can stay here or you can lift the hips up. Sending the head back slightly, but make sure you support it. Take a big inhale, whichever position you're in. Whatever height you are. And exhale, slowly lower down. Bend the knees. Shuffle the bottom a bit further forwards towards your feet and lower yourself down to the mat. And once you're there, listen to what your body needs. So does it need, do what feels good? Is it hugging the knees in at this point, giving your back a little massage? Normally your body is right, it's telling you what to do. The more you do yoga, the more you can hear and use that intuition to look after your body and respond to it. Maybe you want to come into a little bridge. If you want to come to a bridge, bring the heels towards your glutes, palms downwards, anchor down with your hands and your feet. And just slowly think about pushing down and lifting up the hips off the floor, the very bottom of your spine. And see if you see how slowly you can just roll up again with that love, with that respect. with that attention to detail, trying to keep your knees in line with your hips. They're not coming out the side here. Roll up, roll up, roll up. However far that feels good. Having a nice squeeze of the back body, maybe shuffling the shoulders underneath. Big inhale, and then whenever you're ready, exhale, come down as slowly as you came up, making sure it feels nice in your spine as it just rolls down. It almost lengthens it a bit as well. And then hug the knees in, have a rock. Lovely stuff. Maybe a little bit of a circle or figure of 8. Whatever feels good. Maybe you like happy baby. Maybe you find your feet, sliding your hands down to your ankles or your feet. Just checking in with what feels good. Some people like to cross their feet here and hold on to their ankles. That's like a lower version of happy baby. Rocking is great, very nourishing, very relaxing for the back. Just easing out any areas that might be holding any tension. And whenever you're ready, just bring the feet back down to the floor. I've really wobbled over in this mat, haven't I? And just begin to find some moments for relaxation. So get comfortable, add another layer on if you need. Grab a blanket, a cushion, lengthen the legs or keep the knees bent, whatever feels good. And just deepen the breath. And just take this valuable time in Shavasana. It's never a waste of time. Taking some deep breaths to feel your whole body just melting into the ground. Your only job now is to practice that AHIMSA, that loving kindness towards yourself, and allowing yourself to experience the truth of Shavasana, one of the most important parts of the practice. So don't skip this bit, don't go legging it off just yet. The feeling of restoration and rejuvenation by lying still and being with yourself. So use these next moments to really embody AHIMSA and SATYA in your Shavasana. So take your time here, take as long as you need. And also try to take the ideas into your day. Maybe do the lotus mudra at occasions during the day to remind yourself of being open, of not getting stuck on wanting to achieve more, but allowing what we have to be enough. Open to sending out love through compassion and understanding, and also open to receiving love.